Let's bring in Julia Manchester, national political reporter for The Hill. Julia, good morning to you. You know, McConnell was hospitalized back in March. He had a concussion. He fell 2 times, and then these 2 freeze-ups. His team seems to dismiss a greater health concern. Has there been any chatter about him stepping down or at least taking a break?
Yeah, Adrienne, his team is really trying to get rid of that chatter about a potential break or him stepping down. They want to convey an image of strength, that he is all good and that he is going to continue to be there for Senate Republicans. Because, look, Mitch McConnell holds a very important spot in the Republican ecosystem, in the Washington ecosystem in general. He is very much the glue that is holding Senate Republicans together, and I would argue Capitol Hill Republicans together. He's held the Senate conference together. And then, of course, this comes at a time when you have Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who has been struggling to keep his own caucus, the ultra-conservative Freedom Caucus members and maybe more moderate and established members, together. So this is a time when Republicans are trying to be unified, but one of those chief unified figures, Mitch McConnell, is showing signs of physical weakness.
Yeah, physical weakness and maybe a greater problem than we all know. Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, often, a firebrand, somebody who says polarizing things. She's calling him unfit for office. You can understand why. Nikki Haley has brought this up. But what would the impact be for the GOP if McConnell were to step down?
It would be huge. And we don't really know who exactly would replace McConnell as the leader of Senate Republicans. I mean, there's definitely a few people waiting in the wings. John Thune, John Barrasso, Senator from Texas, John Cornyn, Joni Ernst is an up-and-coming rising star in the Senate Republicans. So, there's that question as to who would lead them, forward. But also, whether you love him or hate him, McConnell is a very good political tactician and has, gotten a lot of victories for Senate Republicans, whether it's on the campaign trail or legislatively. So losing him would be a big loss and really change, I think, fundamentally how Capitol Hill works.
New AP poll, it actually finds nearly all Americans, 8 out of 10, believe President Biden is too old for office. We've seen some stumbles with him that are concerning, maybe not as concerning as what's happening with Mitch McConnell, but 69% of Democrats think he's too old to be in the White House. Half of those surveyed say President Trump is also too old to be in the White House and be president. But one of them will likely be president in this country again. I mean, that's just the reality. Are Nikki Haley's calls for having mental competency tests for older lawmakers making a little more sense now, not coming off as ageist anymore?
I think we've heard some strategists want to really draw a distinction between age and mental acuity and mental health. Remember, Republicans really like to, hit the senator from Pennsylvania, John Fetterman, over this issue in the aftermath of his stroke. Now, he hasn't had in, recent months over the past year, he hasn't really had any noticeable stumbles and such. He seems to be doing just fine from what we can see. But this is a bipartisan issue, whether it has to do with age or mental or physical acuity. I mean, I thought it was telling when Joe Biden was talking about how Senator McConnell is a friend of his. Remember, they are roughly in the same generation. They've served in the Senate for decades together. And Joe Biden knows that he, like Mitch McConnell, even though he hasn't had the same sort of, public issues with his health as McConnell has, he's facing these questions as well. So this is a bipartisan issue. We'll see if those mental acuity tests actually gain any traction. It seems like Americans are sort of, hesitant to embrace those, particularly politicians at the moment. But it's a conversation that's ongoing.
We might need to start having them younger and younger, too. That's the thing. Julia Manchester, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.